Excuse me. Hello again, everybody. I'm Paul the Nitro Skyrus, and welcome to the special Halloween edition of the Nitro Corner. Today it's a special edition of the Nitro Corner. It is our PWI 500 report and analysis of the PWI 500 that just came out from Pro Wrestling Illustrated. I will have that analysis later in the show. But first, we're going to go straight to the Newswire this week. A lot to talk about. Excuse me. So let's begin. We begin with the WWE Night of Champions that took place in September. I think September 18th would be the date for that. Let me give you the results of that. In the pre-show, Stardust teamed up with the Ascension to score a victory over Neville and the Lucha Dragons. Then in the opening bell, Kevin Owens defeated Ryback to become the new Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. Congratulations to Kevin, even though it's this late. The Wyatt family defeated Roman Reigns, Chris Jericho, and Dean Ambrose in a six-man tag team matchup. I'm sorry, there's a little mistake in my notes. Charlotte defeated Nikki Bella to become the new WWE Divas Champion. Congratulations to her. The Dudley Boys defeated the New Day by disqualification. The New Day retains the WWE World Tag Team titles. John Cena defeated Seth Rollins to regain the United States Heavyweight Championship, but he didn't hold it for that long. I'll tell you more in just a moment. And then in the other main event, Seth Rollins had to return, but he defeated Sting to keep the WWE World Heavyweight title. And then we saw the emergence of the Demon Kane to attack Rollins after the bell. Sting got injured in that bout, had some neck and back problems. I'll try to keep you informed as to the condition of Sting probably by the next episode of the Nitro Corner. Next up, the WWE was live in Madison Square Garden for their WWE Network special as part of their Road to Hell tour. Some of the results are Neville scored a victory over Stardust. Kevin Owens defeated Chris Jericho to retain the Intercontinental title. Team Bella defeated Team PCB, who are no more because of what the actions of Paige. I'll discuss more about that in the next episode of the Nitro Corner. The Dudleys defeated the New Day once again by disqualification. The New Day retains the World Tag Team titles. In a steel cage match for the United States Championship, John Cena defeated Seth Rollins to keep the title thanks to the interference of the Demon Kane. And then in the main event, Brock Lesnar defeated the Big Show with the F5. A great night at Madison Square Garden, which all leads up to the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view this past Sunday. We begin with a kickoff show where Dolph Ziggler, Cesaro, and Neville scored a victory over Rusev, Sheamus, and King Barrett in the six-man tag team matchup. And then the show kicked off with the United States Championship Open Challenge. Excuse me, as Alberto Del Rio surprised everybody by his return with his brand new manager, Zeb Coulter, as he defeated John Cena thanks to a stiff kick to the head to become the brand new United States Heavyweight Champion, ending Cena's sixth reign as U.S. champ only a month. Then Kevin Owens defeated Ryback in a return match to retain the Intercontinental title. The New Day defeated the Dudley Boys to keep their World Tag Team Championships. The Power of the Unicorn, which is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life, but I digress. Charlotte defeated Nikki Bella in a pretty stiff match to keep the Divas title. Seth Rollins defeated the Demon Kane to keep his WWE World Heavyweight title. Because of that, Corporate Kane has been fired by the Authority. That was the stipulation in the matchup. And then, in first of two Hell in a Cell matches, Roman Reigns scored a victory over Bray Wyatt. And in the second Hell in a Cell match, Brock Lesnar scored a victory over The Undertaker. And then The Undertaker was viciously attacked and stretchered out by the Wyatt family. We'll see what happens in that particular feud down the road. Now we switch focus from the WWE to 1CW and their Kim Cup 2 tournament that took place at the Multicultural Community Center in Milford, Delaware back on September 26th. I'll give you the results first of the tournament itself. 410 Massive defeated Rex Savage and Ryan Starr to advance to the semifinals. The Funkyard Dogs battled Muddy Waters and Jai Cole, to a double disqualification. Both teams eliminated. Then the semifinals began as 410 Massive defeated the Working Class Heroes to advance in the tournament. And then in the finals, 410 Massive proved their worth by beating the 1CW World Tag Team Champions, the Rockin' Rebel and Adam Flash, in the finals to win the Kim Cup 2. No doubt about it, in my mind, they deserve a title shot at the 1CW World Tag Team titles. We'll see whether they get it or not down the road. In other bouts, Travis Banks defeated Kamari thanks to the interference of Muddy Waters. We'll see what happens between those two, between Kamari and Muddy Waters, down the road as well. Casey Carlisle proves to be the best still proving to be the best independent women wrestler in the world, defeating Tess Valentine to keep the 1CW women's title. Then, Nasty Boy Brian Knox was definitely nasty as he and the Funky White Boy defeated Andrew Anderson and Craig Stogg. And then we have a brand new Indie Roundup champion as Russell Love Muscle defeated Pretty Jimmy Dean to become the new 1CW Roundup champion. Of course, the previous champion, Grey Wolf, was injured. He surrendered the championship on that particular evening, a very class act on the behalf of Grey Wolf. And then in the main event, Sinister X defeated Kiko to retain his 1CW Heavyweight Championship. And folks, the next time 1CW will be in Milford will be on November 14th. I'll have more information about that on the next 1CW Control Center, so be on the lookout for that. And that is your Newswire for this week. Now, as I said, I am going to skip all the other features that we have just for this month because I want to focus on the PWI 500. This list was just previously been released about a month ago. I have looked at it, I have thoroughly studied it, and now I'm about to give you my opinion of it. First, as far as the number one ranked wrestler in the world, it is none other than this man right here, Mr. Seth Rollins. As I mentioned, he was insecure as WWE Champion in the beginning, but boy, did he prove that he was not as insecure as one thinks when he defeated the Demon Kane at Hell in a Cell. Does he deserve that number one ranking? Yes and no. I think the insecurity plagued him at the beginning of his title reign really slowed down the progress, but he is picking it up as he scored victories over Sting, over the Demon Kane, and nearly beat John Cena inside of a steel cage to get back the United States Heavyweight Championship. So, yes and no would be the answer for that. Excuse me. Wet my palate there a little bit. Now, another question I would ask, will he have success at number one? Just like I posed the question in the last episode of the Nitro Corner, I'm going to say yes because, again, history proves it. Seth Rollins has been very successful since he got the number one ranking. He defeated the Demon Kane at Hell in a Cell, and that thus forces Corporate Kane to be fired by the Authority. We'll just see what happens now when his next challenger, Roman Reigns of all people, comes around and really tests Seth Rollins. We'll see whether he earns that number one ranking still by the time next year's list rolls around. Now I'm going to look at the other list of the top 10, or the top 15, the top 10, and then others that were ranked on this list. And I'm going to use a simple method of the Card Sharks theory. Card Sharks was a game show you could see on the Game Show Network that ran throughout the 80s, where these ladies would have the playing cards up there like Joke, Jack, King, Queen, and the contestants would see if the card is higher, lower, or stays the same. Well, I'm going to use the higher, lower, and stays the same as far as these rankings go and give you my opinion as to whether they deserve a higher ranking, a lower ranking, or stay the same in their ranking that they are right now. So let's begin. Seth Rollins, of course, number 1. Number 2 is John Cena. I think he should stay in the number 2 spot. He had a pretty good run as United States Heavyweight Champion. He accepted any and all challengers. He had a great series of matches with Kevin Owens. He's had a great series of matches with Dolph Ziggler, Cesaro. He has really defended the title, but I think the reason why he's not number 1 because he recently lost it to Alberto Del Rio, and now he's going to take 2 months off from to recuperate and get back in the ring. He'll probably be back by January 2016. So yes, John Cena will stay in his number 2 position. Number 3 is AJ Styles. I think he deserved a much higher ranking, maybe even number 1. He has been successfully defending the IWGP Heavyweight title. He has defeated such stars as Hiroshi Tanahashi, Kota Ibushi. He won 7 of 9 matches in the 2014 G1 Climax tournament. He defeated former Ring of Honor World Champ Adam Cole at the War of the Worlds 2015. He is becoming an international star. If anything that could knock off John Cena from number 2 or Seth Rollins from number 1, it is AJ Styles. He deserves a higher ranking. Number 4, Roman Reigns, lower. Sorry, Roman. Your feud with Bray Wyatt really sapped the energy out of you. You've been feuding with him for what, 4 or 5 months since he cost you the Money in the Bank ladder match, and now you just got out of the feud. Sorry, you deserve a lower ranking. Number 5 is Shinsuke Nakamura. I say he deserves a higher ranking because of the fact that he won his 4th IWGP Intercontinental title back in September 2014 by beating Bad Luck Fale in Kobe, Japan. He defeated Yuji Nagata to retain that title on February 14th of this year. He is a very captivating wrestler, very good, skilled Japanese wrestler, so he deserves a higher ranking. Number 6, Randy Orton, lower. What has he done in 2015? He's been on and off the radar as of late. I'm sorry, he deserves a lower ranking. Number 7, right here, the highest ranked Delaware wrestler that's not competing in a Delaware promotion, Jay Briscoe, the Ring of Honor champion, much higher. Jay Briscoe is a great, solid wrestler. I've seen him live. I've seen his brother Mark live. They're one of my favorite top wrestlers that I highly recommend for you to see. He has been Ring of Honor World Champion. He has defeated Samoa Joe. He's defeated AJ Styles. I mean, he won his 2nd Ring of Honor title from Michael Elgin in an upset on September 6th of last year at the Ring of Honor All-Star Extravaganza event. He is, without a doubt, one of the best wrestlers to ever come out of the state of Delaware, so he deserves a much higher ranking than 7th. 8th, Rusev, much, much lower. Ever since he lost the United States title, he has been caught in the mid-card shuffle. Now he's a part of a 6-man team. He was feuding with Dolph Ziggler over Lana dumping him. Really? And he gets number 8? No, he deserves much lower than that. Alberto Del Rio, then known as Alberto El Patron at the time of this listing, he deserves a little bit lower. But he did regain the United States title from John Cena, but it's too much too soon. I think it's a little bit of a lower ranking for El Patron, a.k.a. Alberto Del Rio. Next up, Kevin Owens, much higher than 10. How about top 5? This is the prototype of the new rule breaker in professional wrestling. And you give him a 10th ranking? No, it's much higher than that. He has really set the pace as far as being the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. Others, and that is the top 10. As we move on down the rankings, you'll have to excuse me, I'm going to refer to the list here. Some of the names that you might know. Dean Ambrose was ranked 13th. I think he deserves a little bit of a higher ranking. I think maybe top 10. He's produced great matches. He's a quality, solid entertainer. He deserves better than the 13th. Daniel Bryan, 14th. He might get a little bit of a lower ranking than most. I have not seen him wrestle since WrestleMania. He deserves probably a lower ranking. Neville, 15th. Much lower. As I mentioned, he is in the mid-card shuffle. He's lost in the mid-card shuffle. He's now competing at six-man tags. Enough said. Jay Lethal, 17th. I think he deserves a higher ranking. This man is now not only the Ring of Honor heavyweight champion as of this time, but he's also the world's television champion. A double champion in Ring of Honor. Definitely deserves my respect and a higher ranking. Bobby Lashley, former TNA heavyweight champion, 18th. I think he deserves a little bit of a higher ranking just because he's in TNA and he's basically, in my eyes, one of the main people that is carrying TNA. So he's a little bit higher on that. Wade Barrett is next. King Barrett is number 20. I say he stays there. He's had a good mid-card type run thus far. He's now involved in six-man tag team battles. And I was looking forward to see what he does in 2016. So he deserves to stay in the same place. Bray Wyatt, 21st. Same for Bray. He's feud with Roman Reigns all this time. Now he's going to feud once again with The Undertaker. He's caught repeating himself in feuds. He's a very captivating interview. He'll stay there at 21 as far as I'm concerned. Bobby Roode, number 22. Same here. Bobby Roode, another wrestler that's carrying TNA right now. He deserves to stay in the same place. Luke Harper, 24. Probably the same as Bray Wyatt's standings right now. As I mentioned, Luke Harper, the reincarnation of Frank Bruiser Brody, as far as I'm concerned. His ring style, his attitude, his mannerisms in the ring. Doesn't that remind you of Frank Bruiser Brody? He deserves the same ranking as far as I'm concerned. Finn Balor. Finn, where are you at? You're number 28. A little bit higher for Finn. He is the NXT champion. He had a great ladder match against Kevin Owens. He's really proven to be a true NXT champion. We'll see what happens in his next few title defenses, but he deserves a little bit of a higher ranking. Ethan Carter III, where are you at? You're number 30, and you deserve a lower ranking. Really, you are undefeated because of the lack of competition. Excuse there. The fact is, you lost to Matt Hardy, you bellyached and complained, oh, I'm going to file a lawsuit against TNA, I deserve to be champion, this is bull crap, blah, blah, blah. Really? Prove yourself in the ring for once. Lower ranking. The Big Show, where are you at? Number 36. A little bit lower. He really hasn't proven much to me. Yeah, he had a pretty decent match with Brock Lesnar, but at the end of the day, what have you done lately? Big Show, you're caught up in a little bit stagnant as far as I'm concerned. A little bit of a lower ranking for you. Cesaro is next. And Cesaro, you're number 41. And you deserve a higher ranking. A great mat technician. Great use of the forearm. He's very innovative. Very strong guy. Believe me, he is a very strong guy. He had great matches. He just needs to get over the hump a little bit, and I think he will be a singles champion. So a little bit of a higher ranking for him. Next up is Sheamus, number 42, and I think he'll keep that position. Yeah, he's the Money in the Bank winner, but he's been kind of stagnant in six-man tags. He did have an opportunity to cash it in, but Randy Orton stopped him right there. Wait till he cashes it in, and then we'll see the verdict on where Sheamus is going. And finally, let's talk about the New Day. New Day sucks. New Day sucks. Unicorn. Stupid gimmick. Eazy-E. Or, excuse me, Big E, number 44th. Xavier Woods, number 77. Kofi Kingston, number 52. Individually, you'll stay where you're at. I haven't seen much as far as singles competition goes. Not enough to give you an evaluation on that. As a tag team, you're kind of annoying, but you are successful. But please get rid of the Unicorn. It is stupid. Unicorn. Stupid. New Day sucks. Get it? Got it? Good. Now, And that is my analysis of at least some of the big players in the top 5. I won't give away the rest of these results. You'll have to pick up your copy of the PWI 500, available now at your local grocery store, newsstands. Pick up your copy. Go to pwionline.com for information. Now, as far as Delaware-based wrestlers go, like ECWA, 1CW, DCW. DCW goes, not one wrestler made the PWI 500. And we might like to have a little bit more recognition on the list next time. I mean, we're really got something going on here in the state of Delaware, Pro Wrestling Illustrated. I respect you, and I respect how hard it is to do this list, but once in a while, take a look back at the state of Delaware, please. We deserve a good ranking. At least a couple wrestlers, at least in the 300s in the PWI 500. So no wrestlers made the PWI 500. I could be wrong. If I am, please leave a comment under my video, and I'll be more than glad to read it. And that's all I have. And that is it for that's all I have for the PWI 500. Make sure you pick up your copy today at your local stores. Although no Delaware wrestler made a top 500 list. That's great. Well, that's it for this edition of the Nitro Corner. We thank you so very much for joining us. Our next telecast of the Nitro Corner will be on November 22nd. Until then, I'm Paul the Nitro Skyver saying, so long, everybody. We'll see you at ringside.